My Uncle Harvey handed us lollipops every Sunday like he was doing us a favor. I thought he loved us. Then I found a ledger, our names, ages, payments scribbled next to dates. He was selling our pain. I froze, my knees buckled. The lollipop fell and cracked. Kate saw it too. That was the moment our safe place became a cage. Last month, he was arrested, screaming, kicking, saying we owed him. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Back then, Uncle Harvey's rules felt like gospel. Wake before dawn, no shoes indoors. Silence at meals. He said it was discipline. We believed him. Kate once got locked in the barn for crying over a bruise. I snuck her cookies under my shirt. The chickens became her comfort. Pecking at crumbs, I told myself he was strict, not cruel. That lie kept me sane for years. That, and the lollipops on Sundays. Summers meant sweat-stained shirts and blistered hands. Harvey called it camp. But we toiled in his fields while other kids rode bikes. I remember giving Kate my bread and pretending I wasn't hungry. She drew chickens in the dirt with twigs. Our mother visited once, brought silence and a bruise on her arm. She avoided our eyes. That was the day I stopped believing rescue would come. We were Harvey's charity case, his currency. One night, I overheard Harvey laughing into the phone. She's worth double now. Healthy and obedient. I skin crawled. He was talking about Kate. I couldn't sleep. I curled around her, whispering fairy tales to drown my fear. The next day I found new dresses in her size. Tag still on. He was preparing something. I told Kate we'd run soon. She just nodded, too tired to ask where. Even our dreams felt dangerous now. Harvey started locking our bedroom door at night. For your safety, he said, smiling. But I heard the key turn twice. I tested the window, nailed shut. I wrote everything in a notebook, dates, bruises, lies. Kate drew less. Her crayon stayed in the box. One day she asked if good uncles locked doors. I lied, told her real love feels safe. But I didn't feel safe anymore. I felt watched. I felt hunted. At school, I stayed late pretending to study. Miss Henry, the janitor, noticed the bruises. She asked softly, everything okay at home? I said yes, but that night Harvey searched my backpack, found the notebook. He didn't yell, he stared, cold, quiet. Curiosity kills, he said, and tossed it into the fire. Kate cried as pages turned ash. I promised myself next time, I'd hide the truth better, and I'd never trust silence again. We found the ledger buried in a kitchen drawer, and her plastic forks and expired coupons. Kate pointed to her name. My stomach turned. Money amounts, codes, placement dates. Harvey came in whistling. I shoved the ledger into my hoodie. At night, we plotted escape under covers, flashlight flickering. Kate clutched my arm and asked if foster homes were worse. I don't know, but staying meant being sold. Leaving might mean freedom or just a different cage. The night we ran, rain lashed the windows. Harvey was passed out, drunk, boots by the door. I slipped the ledger into a Ziploc, stuffed it in my coat. Kate's hand trembled in mine. We made it to the porch when the floodlight snapped on. Where the hell you think you're going? He slurred, shotgun in hand. I shoved Kate behind me. My voice cracked. We're not yours. That was the first time I said it. Harvey lunged. I threw the flashlight. It cracked against his cheek. Kate screamed. We bolted. Bare feet slicing through gravel. At the road, headlights blinded us. A car skidded. Miss Henry, she'd followed a hunch. I waved the ledger like a flag. He's selling us, I yelled as she flung open the door. Kate collapsed inside. I climbed in, heart racing behind us. Harvey stood in the rain, bleeding and howling, but he didn't follow. At the station, they questioned us separately. I gripped the Ziploc like it could shatter. Kate wouldn't look at anyone. Miss Henry held our coats. When the detective opened the ledger, he went pale. We need KSBS, he muttered. I stared at the stained carpet, waiting to be believed. When the female officer knelt beside Kate, offering hot cocoa, I saw my sister nod. That nod was everything. Maybe someone would finally listen. Harvey was arrested that morning. He didn't fight, just stared at us as they cuffed him. You're nothing without me, he hissed. Kate flinched. I stood tall, code zipped to my chin. We'll see, I said. The officers nodded at us like we'd done something brave. I didn't feel brave. I felt empty. But when Kate grabbed my hand, I squeezed back. We weren't safe yet, but we weren't his anymore. That counted for something. Cheryl, our caseworker, placed us in a temporary home. It smelled like cinnamon and safety. But the first night, Kate asked if the lollipops would come back. My stomach nodded. He gave them every Sunday, she whispered. I realized then his manipulation had rooted deep. Kindness now felt suspicious. That was the twist, not just what Harvey did, but how it rewired us. Healing wouldn't be just leaving it, be unlearning. And that was going to take time. Kate wet the bed that week. I didn't say a word, just helped her change sheets and held her hand. But that night she whispered, do you think you'll come find us? I lied. No, truth was I didn't know Cheryl installed new locks. A counselor named Marcus told me we weren't weak, we'd survived. At Stock, the twist wasn't fear of Harvey, it was learning we didn't need to fear anymore, that we had worth. One afternoon Cheryl handed me a letter, from our mother. I didn't open it. Kate asked if she still loved us. I told her love doesn't mean safety. That night, I burned the letter in Cheryl's fireplace. It curled like dead leaves. I chose not to give her more chances. That was power. The twist wasn't in what the letter said, but in rejecting the idea that I owed her anything. We were enough, just us. Cheryl invited us to a community center workshop. Kate painted a chicken with bright yellow feathers. I watched her, frozen. It looked like the one she used to draw in the dirt. Later she pinned it to the wall herself. That was new. She used to hide her drawings. I asked her why. She shrugged. Because this one isn't sad. The twist hit me. We weren't surviving anymore, we were creating. That was the difference. In therapy, Kate admitted she missed the farm sometimes. I flinched, but she clarified, not him. The chickens, the stars, that nuance broke me. We weren't just healing from pain, we were sorting memory from trauma. Cheryl encouraged us to keep what comforted and discard the rest. I started writing again, using library scraps, notebooks like the one Harvey burned. The twist wasn't reclaiming power through revenge, it was building something gentle from the ashes, quiet strength. Kate had a nightmare and punched the wall, her knuckles swelled. At the ear, she clung to me like a toddler. A nurse asked if we'd had trauma counseling. I nodded, but Kate's rage scared me. Cheryl told me it was normal. Rage was grief's twin. The twist, I wasn't responsible for curing Kate, just for walking beside her. I held her hand tighter that night, whispering stories, no monsters, just light, and the space to feel. Our foster mama, Janet, left cookies and notes. You matter, I see you. At first, I rolled my eyes. Then I saved one. Kate taped one to her notebook. That weekend, she read it open her first poem. I wept in the back row. It wasn't about Harvey. It was about yellow feathers and freedom. That twist cracked me open. Healing wasn't a straight line. But here we were laughing in a church basement. That mattered. One of Harvey's victims emailed Cheryl. She wanted to talk. I didn't respond. But I read her words. She called us brave. Said she never ran. That twist sliced deep. I weren't the only one. He's done this before. I'd always wondered if we were special. Now I knew we weren't. But maybe, in telling our story, we could become something more. I started drafting an essay. It wasn't revenge, it was truth. And it was mine. Kate got her first period and panicked. She thought she was damaged. I cried in the hallway. Cheryl explained everything calmly, like it was normal. Because it was. The twist, we didn't know what normal felt like. But we were learning. I made Kate hot chocolate. She sipped it slowly, said, "Do you think I'll be okay?" I told her, "You already are." And for once, I believed it too. Her fear didn't own us anymore. At the courthouse, Harvey pled not guilty. I sat behind the prosecutor, spine straight. He scanned the room like a predator. I didn't flinch. Kate held my hand. The twist, I thought seeing him again would break me, but it didn't. The judge denied bail. He was taken away in cuffs. No audience this time. No power, just orange scrubs. I walked out taller, oculed but no longer hidden. My voice mattered, and that terrified him. In art therapy, Kate painted over an old drawing of the barn. She added flowers and sunshine. "It's not real," she said, "but it's better." I realized she wasn't erasing the past, she was rewriting it. That was the twist. Healing wasn't forgetting. It was choosing how to remember. I asked if I could hang it beside my bed. She grinned. That night, we both slept through without nightmares. Her flowers guarded the silence like sentries. One Saturday, I volunteered at the youth center. A girl with purple braids clung to her notebook like it was armor. I saw myself in her. I sat beside her and asked if she liked stories. She nodded. So I shared one about chickens, fields, and a girl who ran. Her eyes widened. That twist felt huge, turning my pain into someone else's hope. I wasn't just healing anymore, I was helping. That made it real. Kate got accepted into a youth art showcase, her piece a chicken flying above a barbed wire fence. I cried in the gallery. She smiled shyly, clutching Janet's hand. The twist, she wasn't hiding anymore. Her art wasn't about pain, it was about freedom. That night, she said, "Maybe I'll be an illustrator." I told her she already was. We celebrated with chocolate cake and no lollipops. The cage was gone. All that remained were her wings. Janet gave us keys, real ones, for our bedroom door. "This is your home now," she said. I clutched the key like it was a trophy. Kate hung hers on a ribbon beside her bed. That twist was small but seismic. Choice, autonomy, safety. We controlled. No more locked doors unless we locked them. That night, I locked the door not from fear, but from peace. We slept soundly, keys under pillows, knowing we had finally chosen rest. Cheryl brought over adoption papers. Janet wanted to make it official. I looked at Kate, her eyes sparkled. "Do we get to pick our last name?" she asked. Cheryl nodded. We chose Brighton. It meant something new. The twist, we weren't just escaping something, we were building something. A name we chose, a family we chose. That signature didn't erase the past, but it redefined the future. We weren't Turners anymore, we were Brightons. And we belonged. At school, I spoke during assembly about survival, trust, and what healing looks like. My voice shook at first, then steadied. Kate sat in the front row, nodding. Afterward, a girl hugged me and whispered, "Me too." That was the final twist. Pain didn't isolate, it connected. We weren't alone, and maybe by speaking, I gave someone else their first step toward freedom. I walked off the stage lighter. I'd carried our truth, and it hadn't broken me. After the speech, I sat on the steps alone. Kate joined me. Swinging her legs, she handed me a drawing knee. "Standing tall, you look strong," she said. I smiled. That moment wasn't loud, but it echoed. I wasn't just surviving, I was becoming. The bruises faded, but the lessons remained. Safety, choice, voice, those were ours now, and I swore to protect them, not just for Kate. For all the girls still trapped. One morning, I caught Kate singing while brushing her hair, just humming, carefree. It stopped me cold. That was healing, unplanned joy. I asked if she wanted pancakes. She hugged me from behind, whispering, "Extra syrup." I made them golden. Buttery, she licked the plate clean. We weren't just safe, we were normal. For the first time, breakfast didn't feel like survival, it felt like love. I knew then we'd made it, not perfect, but enough. Cheryl gave us journals, hardcover. No lines, fill them how you want. She said. I drew suns, Kate drew feathers. Our pages bloomed with fragments of us, some messy, some bold. I wrote not a victim, not a villain, just me. Kate added a sticker, "Be brave." We kept the journals under our pillows, not to hide, but to hold. Healing didn't mean forgetting. It meant making space for pain, yes, but also for beauty, and we chose both. Harvey was sentenced 15 years, no parole, Cheryl told us gently. Kate stared at the clock, then asked for ice cream. We went out that night, vanilla cones melting too fast. It wasn't celebration. It was closure. No more waiting for the next knock. The system had hurt us, believed us. That cone dripped freedom. We licked it clean, one drop at a time. We were never going back. Jana framed Kate's chicken painting and hung it in the living room. Guests always asked. Kate would smile and say, "That's freedom." I watched her beam, confident, whole. I started tutoring younger girls at the shelter, sharing notebooks, sharing space. We didn't just survive Harvey, we reshaped what safety meant. Our story wasn't just pain, it became power. Shared, soft, and still sharp enough to cut through silence. And it was ours now. Kate and I planted a garden, just wildflowers, messy and stubborn. She called them survivors. Every bloom was a win. Dirt under nails, sun on skin. Janet joined us with lemonade. Cheryl visited, snapping photos. The flowers grew crooked, unruly, and beautiful. Like us. Not perfect, but rooted. We laughed more, cried less. Our backyard became our sanctuary. No cages, no ledgers, just growth, just us, and the wild things we let live. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.